Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we are going to be going over the all-new Honda Civic Type R. We have a ton of updates. Let's just get right into the video. So first off, before we get into anything, I have to give a shout out to Honda for releasing some footage of the new Civic Type R. If you haven't seen the video of it driving already, it's like a 1-minute video. It's on Honda's YouTube channel. Just go look it up. But I'm assuming that most of you that are watching this video have probably already seen the teaser clip. And so yeah, it's cool to see the new Civic Type R in action. It's driving around Suzuka Circuit in Japan, if you guys are wondering. And it's pretty exciting. So from the video, you guys can first hear that the car sounds significantly better than the previous Civic Type R. The previous Civic Type R, the interior noise, I felt like it was pretty good, but on the exterior, it's kind of, it was so-so. But this new one definitely sounds significantly better. So that's the first thing from the video. The next thing to notice from the video is the styling. So initially with the new Civic, I wasn't so sure about the styling. I felt like it just looked like a baby Accord, right? And I think I kind of posted that in one of the review videos. I was like, it's a baby Honda Accord. It really does look like it stylistically, but it's grown on me a lot. Seeing different packages, right? Seeing the base model, I was like, yeah, this is a good looking car. But then I got to review the SI recently. One of the managers at the Stockton 12 Honda here in Utah that I filmed for bought one, right? So shout out to John for buying that and letting me review his car. And so I got to spend some time with it, got to look at it, and I'll drive it and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, in the SI form, it looks so amazing. And that's obviously built off the sedan. But driving the new Civic SI completely changed my mind on this Honda Civic in general with the new body style. The previous generation, I felt like because I drove them back to back for a video, felt a little bit more like driver focused, if that makes sense. Like it felt like I was having more of an experience, versus the new one felt way too plush. But then I drove the Civic Si, and then I kind of changed my mind because I'm like, wait a second. I really like how smooth this car is. I like how easy it is to drive. And, you know, it's not a perfect car, but that was one of the most exciting cars that I have reviewed this year so far. And I know that we're just starting this year. But I guess as a 2022 model year car, that is one of the most exciting cars that I have reviewed to date. And so, yeah, I think they just have nailed it from a driving dynamic perspective. And I'm really excited about this new Type R because of how the SI drives. So you guys can see it driving, again, if you watch the video, see it ripping through the track, sounds great. Manual transmission has been confirmed with this car. There's also talks of it being offered with a dual clutch to kind of compete against the Hyundai Veloster N, and also the Volkswagen Golf Type R as well. I think it's a smart move. But the things that have also been slightly confirmed, but this is more on the speculation type or side of things, is it's probably not going to be a hybrid. There was some talk, and I talked about this in my first video with the Civic Type R, is it might be, it might have a hybrid system to make it all-wheel drive, where it'll have some power sent to the rear wheels via a hybrid system, but it sounds like they're just going to keep it simple, and they're just going to do the turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that the current Civic Type R has, but they're going to bump up the power figures a little bit. So the current Type R has 306 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. I would expect this to be pretty conservative, because if you look at the Civic Si, they didn't really do anything with the power figures. They made the power band feel way better, right? It feels like it always has power, versus the old Si, not necessarily. Whereas it sounds like with this, again, judging by what they did there, probably same thing. And it might have the same power, marginally more power. Maybe it'll have 5-10 more horsepower, but then they'll make it so the power band just feels a lot better with the car. And then aside from that, the other thing to note about the video, before we kind of get into, I guess, opinion section, is they had a shot of a green car in the video, and it didn't have camouflage like what you see with most of the video, and it looks really good in green. I will say that. You guys know I'm partial to that color, but they might do some crazy colors. Well, they've always done crazy colors for the Civic, but they might do some really crazy colors this time for this new Type R. But yeah, I guess getting into the opinion section and kind of more on the speculation side of things. So first off, on the opinion section, and you guys can already tell, I'm super excited about this car. I think that it's awesome that Honda is, sticking with releasing a Civic Type R in general, right? They didn't have to do that. But I'm glad that they are continuing to go that front and build, a high-performance version of the Civic. I think it actually helps out with Civic sales quite a bit, because it creates that kind of halo car effect. Next thing, keep the manual transmission. I think that's super smart, right? Manual transmissions are extremely popular, and the popularity is actually growing because people are realizing that they kind of miss that connection that they used to have. And so, yeah, I think that's smart. Doing a dual clutch automatic, I think, is also smart. I think that'll bring in new buyers to the Civic Type R that just don't want to deal with manual transmissions, can't drive a manual transmission. I think the manuals will still be the default transmission for most people. I'm sure that if they release the automatic and they do like the number split, I'm sure most people, just like with Porsche with the 911 GT3, will buy the manual, and there'll be like a subset of people that'll go for the automatic. Moving from that to the performance, I guess that's kind of been like a trend with these Japanese automakers over the last little bit, because Subaru released new WRX and it didn't have any increased power, really. It was like 2 or 3 horsepower. And Honda seems to be doing the same thing with the Civic, right? The Civic Si didn't really have any more power, and this new Type R is probably not going to have any more horsepower. I don't know why they're doing that, because a lot of people have been asking for more power, and you see all of the people that go in and tune these cars, and it's not like there's people that go crazy over the top and, you know, will shove like 500, 600 horsepower into these JDM cars. But there's a lot of people that they just go and they just get a tune to tune it up to like 50 to 100 more horsepower, which is, it's a lot, but it's also not a crazy, crazy amount. And so I think that these cars should just have that extra power from the factory already. And sorry about the camera moving. Zipper decides that he wants to scratch himself against the post. Anyways, don't know what that, super passive aggressive. He like goes, knocks it, and then walks out. Yeah, I think that they should give it more power. I think that's what buyers want in this segment, because it's just, I don't know, it's kind of crazy that like the Civic Type R, for example, even though it is going to be way faster around a track compared to most cars, has like the same horsepower as a Toyota Camry. Like, I don't think that should be a thing. I think that if it's a high-performance sports car, it should have high-performance sports car power. So that's one thing that I'll knock it for, but we don't have official power figures yet, so maybe I'm wrong. The other thing is, it's still probably going to be front-wheel drive, because right now, the Honda Civic's front-wheel drive, the Civic Si is front-wheel drive, so the Civic Type R will probably be front-wheel drive. Now, they fixed a ton of issues with the fact that that car's front-wheel drive. Like, that is the best driving front-wheel drive car ever. I can confidently say that because I just drove the new Civic Si. I have driven the previous generation Civic Type R, and they have figured it out. However, there's a lot of buyers that just want and need all-wheel drive for that type of car. That's why a lot of people purchase the Subarus. That's why, like, I purchased a Focus RS over a Civic Type R when I had that car for a little bit, because all-wheel drive, right? There's just a huge pull to that. And so I'm hoping that they end up, I don't know, maybe doing, I don't want a hybrid system, but, putting some sort of all-wheel drive system into it. I think that not only would that help the Civic Type R be faster around a racetrack, I think it would also attract more buyers. The car's already extremely popular. I think it would make it even more popular. But this video is getting a little bit too long per usual. I want you guys to let me know what you think about this new Civic Type R, especially after seeing the video by Honda, and if you're planning on getting one, and what you would like to see out of the car personally. So I guess to reiterate with my key points, I think it should definitely have more power than the previous generation. I think at least 25, if not 50 more horsepower. I think that would be completely reasonable. And they're sticking with the manual transmission, which I think is smart. The new platform is going to be amazing for the Civic Type R because it's going to be very smooth, and that's going to be great for a track-focused car and for daily driver use overall. And I think the aesthetics, you guys can see the camel car, I think it looks good. But the one thing is, I think they should add all-wheel drive. That's going to help out with, like I said, attracting a new demographic of buyers. It's going to make the car more popular. It's going to increase sales, I think, overall. And I know it's adding complexity. I know it's adding weight, but I think it's worth it in the long run. Seeing the values of like the Focus RS, right, an all-wheel drive hatchback with the manual transmission, seeing those just skyrocket. Like within my ownership period of having one, it went up by over $7,000 in value. Shows that people want all-wheel drive hatchbacks with manual transmissions. So yeah, that's going to sum things up. I will see all of you in the next video.